Steve, can you show me how Bigfoot runs?
Sasquatch runs like this. I think we went down to 5 degrees last night. So it's a little chilly up, but that dry sun's coming up. Unfortunately, I'm really concerned about a lot of salmon streams, man. There's a place down the inlet, some residents there told me about the mouth of their river, and there's currently spring salmon, coho salmon, and chum salmon balled up in the ocean still because they got no water to go back up. And that's really concerning, man. That sucks ass. Sucks ass. The planet's doing some funny things. I think the planet's probably had enough of our bullshit, huh? Probably. So, gotta get some voices heard while I still can. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention yesterday I was gonna say, when you crack open a new YouTube channel, it's still all connected to you. And when they delete or give a channel a spanking, it's only that one channel. So if you have like, I don't know, you could have 7 YouTube channels, and if you said something they didn't like, they will only spank you on that one channel. The rest remain going. So I have 2 YouTube channels. One's the plain how to hunt for angling and hunting knowledge, and then this one, the facts about hunt. So what I'm gonna do is I'll open up another backup channel. And yes, I still got the Rumble channel, you guys. But unfortunately, you guys, so everybody says, just go to Rumble altogether. Well, I could do that, but I think there's only like, I don't know how many, there's only 14,000 or something people over there watching this information, and there's millions here currently. So we would be dropping a lot of people if I absolutely dropped this platform right now, right? So it'd have to, I don't know how you get all those people over there. I don't have any clue. So in the meantime, it's very simple to do. I'll bet you it'll probably take me 5 or 10 minutes to open up a new YouTube channel, and it'll be a backup channel for this channel. So this content will go on that channel. And then, so you guys, I'll tell you what, I will look at the comments section in this video, and you guys name the backup channel for this channel. Because obviously, I mean, the facts by howtohunt.com, I mean, that title doesn't even relate to this topic, not that it needs to. My domain, I own all the How to Hunt domain names, basically almost nearly all of them, I think. How to Hunt dot everything. And it wasn't meant for this purpose, that's for sure. And then, obviously, once all of you came here and these topics blew up, I just changed the title of this channel to The Facts by How to Hunt, and then used How to Hunt for the title of the other channel, which is just for how-tos for hunting and angling. So I'll leave it up to you guys to figure. I don't know what the hell to call a backup channel. I haven't a clue. You call it the same name as this? I don't know. I don't really give a shit, actually. So you guys decide what to name the backup channel, and I'll get that done today. All right? And I'll check out the comment section below. Maybe a handful of people will blast down some whatever names you come up with, and everybody can like those names. Do whatever you want. We'll pick it up. We'll grab it that way. All right? Because I don't even have time to think. What else? Just so you guys know, current news. Current sort of news. We have a chance. You have a chance. All you have a chance to make a difference. All you have a chance to flex your muscles and show everybody in the world that it is ultimately it's up to the people. And the people are to be feared, and the people dictate what's up, and the people decide what's up. When it comes to freedom, speech, whatever you want to do, how you want to do it, how you want to spend it, how you want to make it, whatever. PayPal, they did this to us. They were one of the first businesses to blatantly attempt to violate us and our freedoms to the max. I mean, you can't get much more lower and dirtier and filthier than what PayPal was the first to attempt. What happened was they had it. You can find all the information by looking yourself. PayPal wrote it up. They came up with, somebody at the head of PayPal came up with and decided to, and wrote it all out, a recipe to fine the people, free people in the so-called free world, $2,500 they would steal from you if you made a post on the internet that they didn't approve of. I don't give an F if they even posted that for half a day and then took it down. They did it. The people at the top did that. Okay? And the only reason they retracted it is because their stock started to plummet. Plummet. That's the only reason. They didn't do it because they're concerned about your freedoms. The only reason they redacted that move was because they were scared of the results that the people imposed on them immediately, which was plummeting their stock. So, no, it's still not okay. They did that, and the people who did that are still in that position. All right, you understand, you guys? So, if or when somebody comes up with the next move, which will be directed at doing that to us, suppressing our speech, making sure that we can't talk, somebody else is going to do it. And if somebody else manages to successfully do that first, PayPal's going to slide right in there and jump on that bandwagon. You know they are, if they're given a chance. So what I'm proposing, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but I got a funny feeling this is the right thing to do. I'm proposing we bankrupt the shit out of PayPal. And this is a chance for the people to take it back. Right? You got to start somewhere. This is a chance for the people to take it back, bankrupt those sons of bitches, use them as an example, and start giving all the people the confidence that we should have again. The confidence that we can say no, and we can smack your ass for a violation. Right? We're not the peons. These people should be and are going to be and are the peons. I don't give a shit how much money these pricks have. And I swear on my entire existence, if somebody wanted to transfer me $500,000 today using PayPal, I say, sorry, can't do it. You're going to have to find another way. So, I made this the other day. I made this yesterday. Check that out. Oops, hold on. What do you think of that? I would suggest the people do what's right and annihilate those dirty, filthy bastards who are still in that position. They're still in the position that they could decide to, and you know they want to, otherwise that wouldn't even have hit print. There's people in the head of PayPal today that want to somehow suppress your voice and give you a fierce financial spanking if you don't say what they want you to say. Okay? That's not good. I don't give a shit if they redacted that. It doesn't matter. Those people are still there. And trust me, there's not going to be a whole shit pile of employees at PayPal. It's an online thing. There's probably 5 or 6 geeks running it, for all we know, right? Not that I give a shit. In that industry, if you're worried about destroying somebody's career or taking away their money, don't even think twice about it. Those people can get a job in their field anywhere in the globe, anytime online. There's nothing but help wanted for what they do. But I firmly believe they deserve a fierce, fierce spanking. And I'm going to promote it nonstop. How's that sound? Bankrupt PayPal. All right? That should be a focus for the people, I believe. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But I go with my guts, and my guts are screaming, get them back. We know who they are right now. We know exactly who some individuals are that want to control your ass and what you say. We know where they are. They tried to do it. Now they're hiding. Oops, you just exposed yourself. Now I'm going to get your ass. There you go. Now, let's get some voices heard. Some very, very important voices. Why are they important? Because they belong to the people. The people. There's no one more important than the people. All right, what's this? This is titled, Black Entity Climbs Away from Water's Edge. A few adjustments. This is about the best I could get. Black eyes and leaf. Distorts lower face. Look at edge of shoulder and you can see the reflective properties of the long translucent triangular hairs. Maybe. I think they can lift the long translucent hairs and your eyesight bounces just like a shell bouncing off the angled armor of a tank. There's another photo. I don't know, man. I mean, who knows? I'll share the photo, although everyone knows my stance on photos. It doesn't do anything for me. I'm not overly concerned myself. If I think of it, I will post that again on the screen itself, edit it in. And there is the photo, and that's the full email. Take from it what you will or leave it. Thanks for sending that in. What else do we got? Man, I had so much information sent to me lately from our contacts. It just makes your brain explode. The shit that I'm receiving and learning. And hopefully, sooner or later, we'll be able to put it in a package and deliver it to all of you and share it with all of you. And even these particular individuals even said after this last email, how the hell are you going to deliver this information to the people? I'm going to deliver it the same way they delivered it to me. Open, honest, here you go. Here you go, have at it. That's what they know, that's what they've learned. And for you to wrap your brain around it, for a lot of people, it's going to be not too easy. But, oh well, it's got to be done. No more bullshit, no more lies, no more keeping the truth from the people. No more. Where am I going? I'm going way down the list. There's a lot of emails in here that don't have experiences or needing help or having any information to share. There's a lot of, hey man, you should look at this. Hey man, you should look at that. All right, here we go. What's this one? Mark this is red. This is titled Bigfoot, Power Plants, and Water. Hey Steve, how you doing today? This is Ron. I'm sitting watching you and you're talking about Bigfoot and nuclear plants. In 1981, I was a senior in high school. My best friend Jim was also a senior. Jim and I became best friends because we had so much in common. We both loved cars and built our cars to be fast. We hung out a lot. Many nights driving up and down the levee off the Missouri River. We both believed in the existence of Bigfoot and UFOs. Jim's older brother was an air traffic controller at a major airport. He would tell us all kinds of unexplained stuff that he had witnessed. Jim and I were fascinated with what Jim's brother shared. Now remember, this is 1981. Our exposure to UFOs and Bigfoot are very limited. What we did know about the two only came from the media, and we all know how filtered that is. Dump the media. That should be another hashtag. Dump the media. Jim had a theory that UFO sightings happen near power plants and water. In Sibley, Missouri, off the Missouri River, is a coal-burning power plant. Jim and I were out there most weekend nights looking for UFOs. We saw some crazy stuff in the sky. There were times when Jim would call his brother and ask him if he picked up anything weird on his radar. His brother would confirm that weird stuff was in the night sky. Jim also had a theory that Bigfoot was connected to UFO sightings. One night we were sitting on the levee looking up into the night sky. There was an orb that caught our eye. The orb flashed in different colors and moved in ways that no plane or craft that we know of could move. The orb was about a half a mile away from us, moving up the river toward us, then stopped above the trees and hovered there for about 10 minutes. The orb then lowered down into the trees and we could no longer see it. We were leaning against his car discussing what we just saw and trying to explain it. We noticed that all around us it became very quiet. No crickets or birds, no movement at all. We then heard a loud growl, a howl, a roar. Not natural sound come from where the orb went into the trees. The sound, however, it can be described, was powerful and vibrated our bodies. See, that would suck ass. I haven't had a sound vibrate my body, and I think that would scare the shit out of me. If I did, and how many people have had that happen? We both stood up and walked down the levee toward the sound. About 50 feet down, we stopped frozen in fear. Whatever was making that sound was coming at us. We could hear trees snapping and feel the thud of each foot as this thing hitting the ground. We turned and ran for our lives to the car. We didn't look back because this thing was coming at incredible speed. We made it to the car and took off down the levee. The next day, Jim and I went back down to where the incident occurred. We drove past where we were to get closer to where the thing was, parked the car, and went into the woods to investigate. What we saw was unexplainable. Trees were snapped in half about 6 feet off the ground. The trees were between 4 to 6 inches round. There was a clear path of broken trees going up a hill about 3 feet wide. The trees were snapped on both sides. Absolutely, completely snapped in half. We proceeded to walk up the hill, excited that we might get to see evidence of the orb landing. Again, the woods were very quiet. We froze and intently looked and listened. We saw nothing and heard nothing. Very spooky and uneasy. I told Jim that I don't think we need to go any farther up the hill. Jim agreed. Said that he felt eyes were on us. We went back toward the car, uneasy the entire way. We got to the car, felt better. The uneasiness was gone. Jim and I believed that we were allowed to see how the woods had been affected by that thing. We were stopped by an unseen force. It was like, okay, you saw enough, now go. End of email. Okay, that's pretty crazy. Back in the... Alright. Who knows, but if maybe that timber is still standing, those trees are still going to be there snapped. I'd love to see a photograph of that, or even a video of that corridor of broken off trees. I'm sure everybody would, right? Especially if there's no road or room for equipment in there to go in there and do that. That'd be something else to see. I don't know what the chances are you could do that, but if you do, pull it off, man. Share it up. Oh, holy cow. Okay, this sounds close to home. Old home. Thanks for sending that in, man. Appreciate it. Dog Man in Langford, BC. What the hell? Good afternoon, Steve. My brother had kept the story untold for many years for fear of what people would think, and shared it with me after I brought up the topic of Dog Man. Yeah, in Langford, no doubt. Especially in the 80s, right? It says, This occurred back in the mid-'80s, and I believe he was 15. He wasn't living at home at the time and was on his way back from visiting his girlfriend. He was walking along Happy Valley Road. I used to live on Happy Valley Road. And back then, houses were built on large lots and not nearly as densely populated like it is now with townhouses. Ew, there's townhouses on Happy Valley Road now? I don't even want to see it. It was all rural farm when I lived there. Street lighting was poor, and when walking there in the dark, you had to be careful and stay well off the shoulder of the road for fear of being hit by a car. Anyway, on this evening, as he was walking back, he noticed what looked like a large dog across the street under the light of the street lamp. That thing took him back. The thing that took him back the most, however, was the sheer size of it. He said it was black, had coarse-looking hair, was very muscular, and its shoulder blades were the height of the hood of a car. It also had what looked like a lion's mane of hair around its head and neck. It followed my brother on the opposite side of the road and never took its eyes off of him, as if it was stalking him. Holy shit. This occurred for a few minutes until my brother began to get really scared and was about to run off and try and lose this thing. At that moment, my brother saw a car's headlights coming around the bend. The car seemed to startle the dog, and it bolted into the road where its hind quarters were struck by the bumper. The car came to a screeching halt, and a man came out, apologizing profusely to my brother for hitting his dog. My brother and the driver looked at the bumper, and there was blood and a dent in it. However, the animal was nowhere to be seen. My brother told the driver it wasn't his dog and asked for a ride to Souk Road and far away from this creature. Wow. There are two other instances that occurred that I'll save for later. But this next one is striking. About 8 years ago, I was listening to a Mysterious Universe podcast, and a man had written in to talk about an experience he had. He was at a small bush party and had walked off deeper into the forest to relieve himself. As he's doing his business, he noticed movement about 75 meters or so away. When he looked closer, he saw what looked like a werewolf walking on two legs and enter a dilapidated trailer that somebody had abandoned. Where is this guy writing from? Langford, BC. The subdivision of which we entered the woods from backed onto Goldstream Provincial Park. I'm curious if others on the island have had encounters as well. Thanks for listening, Steve, and for sharing your stories. I think it's important to help many of us cope. Be blessed, Joel. Holy shit, Joel. All right, man. I can touch on a whole bunch for you and your brother. If you're still with us, here's the deal. Goldstream Provincial Park, hotbed. You go right around the corner of the highway heading up north, go to Hall's Boathouse. Right at the bottom, a boatload of people. Saw 4 of them in the dark, crossing the inlet in the water. A couple froze, and they put the spotlight on it, clinching onto the rocks there. Now go a little farther up to the power lines. Across the power lines to the top, that's where I ran into one. Right there, at the top of those power lines where they hit the peninsula. Female RCMP officer watched 4 of them walk across in front of her car on Humpback Road, closer to the Goldstream Park end of it. My grandparents lived right behind Mom Miller's pub. My grandfather ran into one in North San Juan River. What else? So Happy Valley Road. Obviously, you got Happy Valley Road, Souk Road, the Timber, and then Humpback Road. Right? That hill up there. I talked to 4 fisheries office fish. I don't know if these guys are fish cops or more deckhands on the fisheries boat. 30 days on, 30 days off. A friend of mine was a fisheries officer. We all met up at the 6 Mile pub when they all came to shore one time, had a bullshit session, and I brought up the topic, and one of them said, yeah, I seen one, the thing was frickin' huge. First thing he said, and that was a carload of 4 of them doing the back in that day. You know, it was kind of easy to get back to Souk if you've been nightclubbing in Victoria, whip down the highway, go to Humpback Road, hang out in Humpback, to go bypass Langford and Colwood cops, and then hit Souk Road and then carry on, right? And they were going along Humpback Road, and this thing came from the Souk Road, Happy Valley Road side of that timbered hill and crossed diagonally, lengthwise, in their headlights, heading up into those hills into the watershed, right? So, how's that for a quick little rattle off? And then there's also more sightings along Souk Road, obviously, and I think there's been a few in East Souk as well. But those, honestly, those are the first times I've heard of that shit going on. on home dirt here, the dog man description thing. I haven't really heard too much. I think we had one from Alberta. That other guy said he's seen a couple by 100 Mile House in central BC, but that's about it. It's creepy as shit. I always felt creepy at Humpback Road, and as well, we just drove down there a little while back when I bought that boat. I had to go down south to pick it up, and unfortunately I had to see how everything had changed because I probably hadn't seen it for 15 years. And there used to be that big gravel pit between, just before you hang a left off the highway to go to Goldstream and Humpback Road. There used to be a big gravel pit in there, and the power lines, those big power lines went on the back side, right from Humpback Road. And I used to park right there, and I'd hike in there and hunt my bow and arrow. And that's also right where the RCMP saw it for them. And that's the one and only time I smelt the smell. It's a friend of mine and I were walking in there, and we had left Humpback Road. We were about, I don't know, maybe 200 yards from the road, and could smell this, like, holy shit, something's dead in there. Maybe we should go in there and see if it was a deer or something got whacked by it on Humpback Road or something on the way out. And on the way out, the smell was gone. There was nowhere to be found. And I did circles all over the place where I thought that smell was coming from. Nothing. A little weird, right? Didn't think much of it at the time. But anyway, there you go. Crazy. I got some funny stories of the cops chasing me down Humpback Road or Happy Valley Road, trying to get me before I got home, and losing them twice. I actually lost this one cop. He was chasing me down the road, and he had me too almost, and I got away from him. Not long story. Funny stories. Not for the topic for here right now, but funny stories. They never got me. Anyway. What? All right, here's a short one. This is titled, Steve, He Was Killed. There was a story of a couple taking an early morning walk, and they found a 60-year-old man with what looked like a rock had hit his skull and killed him instantly. So it does happen. And with their aiming ability, I'm sure they meant it. But I wonder how many I haven't heard of. End of story. Okay, man. That's interesting. Wonder where the story came from. Is there a news clipping or something? I don't know. There is. Maybe send it in, right? No doubt, because you imagine young ones trying to do pranks, screwing around, in one of those oops moments, right? Kind of like when you're a kid and you smashed out the neighbor's window with a baseball by accident. You're like, uh-oh. You hit him in the head a little hard. You never know. Adirondack. Giving you guys, take it easy, New York. Adirondack Bigfoot. I already read that one. I know that one. That was the one where the guy took off and left his wife laying there. Why is that still in here? Why is that in here twice? Alright, here's another one. Hopefully this isn't a double. Send it once, you guys. This is titled Sabe. I became a lover of the woods as a child, around 5 years old. We had moved from the city to the country on a farm that was owned by my mother's family, who had deep-seated roots on both sides in the Cherokee Nation. Hot summer days, when it was too hot to do anything else, my mom and her sister would take us to the creek about a half a mile away from the farmhouse. We splashed and swam all afternoon and was never ready to go home. One day, in defiance, I meant to go to the creek. As entering the woods, I was afraid because I was alone. So I made it to the creek and recognized the rock bridge where rocks were just piled up in there so a wagon could get across without much trouble. Then, there it was. The pen where my grandfather used to trap fox. At that point, I jumped on the large rock in the water and continued jumping from one rock to another until suddenly I heard something in my head said, stop. And I heard another word, snake. I looked ahead to the next rock, and there's a huge copperhead, coiled and ready to strike if I jumped. I immediately turned and jumped myself back out of the creek and ran all the way home. Within the following week, I saw one of my older cousins. He had a story of his own. He was headed down the same trail to the creek, and there, looking over a bush, was a young Bigfoot. I never made a connection to all these things until I started watching your channel. In 1967, we had a tragedy in our family. My mom died of something very rare. She was fine one day and gone the next. I was 14 at this time. My brother was 12. And then it looks like he started another sentence, and that's the end of it. Sad ending. Sorry to hear that one. But there's a lot more to this story. Sheila, you might want to send it in, all right? Because that's all I got. It stops right after I was 14 at this time. My brother was 12, period. Then I went A. That's it. Thanks for sending that one in. Okay, now let's find. Sounded. All right, what's this one? There's another one. I gotta organize my frickin' notes, man. There's so many emails in here. Incident in Sedona, Arizona. Hi, Steve. You read two of my encounters back in May. The first, as a 4-year-old child being visited by a Saturday at night, and the second, a current dogman issue during COVID lockdown. In 1988, my husband and I took our 6-month-old son to Sedona, Arizona to visit the in-laws. Once there, we took the baby on a walk at the foot of the Red Rocks. During the walk, I noticed large, fresh cat tracks next to the stream. Thinking of the baby and being unarmed, we retreated, returning to the house. Being a night person, I was up watching movies with the TV volume down to a whisper. All the house windows were fully open and a cool breeze was wafting into the room. Our room was dark except for the light from the TV. Because the window started 5 feet from the floor, it had curtains there that were see-through. My bedroom was next to the wall of the window. The yard was covered with loose river stones. I'd heard nothing walking across the stones to my window when a horrible, rank smell of urine, body odor, feces, and old urine came into the room on the next breeze. I froze knowing I could be seen through the drapes because of the light from the TV. I turned off the TV and listened. I heard huff, huff, and very loud sniffing. It was when I heard the creaking of the window screen being pushed upon that my heart went into my throat. Whatever it was taller than me. All I could think is that something had tracked us back to the house and maybe my son was the object of its attention. I thought of reaching under the drapes to slide the window closed, but I was unrealistically terrified of what was out there. I thought of waking my husband, but he had always been a bit of an idiot and unable to be silent. I rolled up the bed. Once on the floor, I discovered our basset hound shivering under the bed. Not a good sign, as hounds are howlers. I belly crawled out to the great room. Once there, I closed and locked every window. I also looked out the window, but was unable to see the yard outside our window. I turned on all the outside floodlights and waited a few minutes, watching my room from the doorway. The smell dissipated. I still heard nothing traveling on the loose river rock. I reached under the drape to close and lock my window before going to sleep. The next morning, I went out to look at the window and found a huge handprint where the red dust had been disturbed, as well as a sparkling area that looked like something had licked the screen and the saliva had dried. Ew. I shared my account with my father-in-law the next morning. Remember, I thought it was a large predatory animal until I saw the screen. Stupid must run in their family. After, as they say, stupid runs in families, as he immediately started to scrub the handprint and lick mark off the screen. Luckily, both my now grown children take after my side of the family. What my dad taught me about awareness of my surroundings and development of my gut instinct has been passed on to them. Regards, Roxanne. Good. Glad to hear that, Roxanne. I think that should probably be one of the number one lessons you teach your children as soon as they can speak English, is to teach them to get in tune with their gut feeling, their sixth sense, their instincts, and not to leave that. And if we could just, I'm sure there is people out there that can teach it, but we really have got to teach the children how to get in tune with their natural skills. You do that to the next generation, then you're going to see some bullshit getting erased from society pretty quick, right? Reversing what they have done. Good for you, Roxanne. Okay, what do we got here? Questions you have asked. All right, let's hear it. Hey Steve, D here from Northern Utah. I'm sending in again to share what I've found about some of the questions you've asked. Number one, why do they dislike dogs so much? I have studied this from a different angle. I don't think that they are afraid of dogs as much as they don't like them because they are natural. They are a natural early defense. There's a book called True Unity by Tom Dorrance. It is a horse training book that talks a lot about auras, the electric field, and that we all have around us. Explains that it is either positive or negative or somewhere in between based on the things we have experienced in life. We, all living creatures, have it. It also goes on to tell us that horses and dogs are very sensitive to this aura. I'm sure you have experienced meeting someone and your dog or a horse gets weird around them and found out later that that person was shadier than hell. Sabe know that we as humans have lost or that we have chosen to ignore this ability. So, they don't like the fact that we have animals around us that still possess this ability. They are the kings and queens of hide and seek. These animals give us kind of equal footing in detecting what is around us. Number two, you asked why is it that during daylight hours it is like we startle them, but at night they sneak in as close as they can and seem to try and scare the shit out of us. I'm sure that you have answered that question a few times with the email sent in. Remember the emails about how much light they detected from a long ways away, and also the email from the Air Force pilot and how they've seen the laser light. Well, they see things in a different way than we do. It is my firm belief that during the day they don't see things the same way that they do during the night. Call it light overload. Much like we can't see at night very well, they can. I'm totally convinced that them being able to see the spectrum of light that allows them to see the military stuff allows them to see us like bright neon lights at night. They know we don't see very well at night, so that gives them the confidence to do the things they do at night. Remember what the Air Force pilot said about the way it reacted at being hit by that laser. It acted startled and covered its eyes. It has been shared many times that when caught in the headlights or in a flashlight beam, that they protect their eyes and kind of act mad. It has been bore out in many eyewitness accounts that the light is not their friend. Now, Stephen, you used my name as to my age. There is little to nothing that scares me. Well, other than that, my young granddaughters, they scare the shit out of me. Oh, well, just for you, Steve. All right. Appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words. Okay, D. Gotcha. You never know. I don't know. I don't really put too much thought into that anymore, but for me, as I go, my knowledge just keeps expanding, and the amount of items that come due to looking, it basically explodes your brain weekly. But now you got me thinking about it. The amount of sightings day and night are almost, I understand, I've heard it before, almost 50-50. And I'm not saying it's not what you're suggesting isn't correct. I don't know. I'm going to tell you flat out, I haven't a clue myself. And if I had to be asked what I thought, my answer would possibly be, well, think about us at nighttime driving and those sons of bitches with those halogen lights coming dead on towards you, or whatever you want to call them, LEDs, and they got fog lights on, and it's not foggy, and they basically bake my eyes out of my skull. Or if they're driving behind you, or if you're out running around and somebody blasts with a flashlight. We do the same thing, right? It's like, holy shit. We do the same thing. So I don't know. I don't know. Somebody does, though. If we're going to find out, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to sharing what I've learned with all of you. What I'm putting together in a big package, I'm looking forward to it. I know all you impatient people are just ready to blow a gasket right now. But too bad. Too bad. We have no room for impatience when it comes to learning, especially what we're discussing here. Oh, and furthermore, I'm just going to say some academics in Europe have shared with me that their superiors have a list of YouTube channels that they want taken off. And they gave me the list of the top five. One of them I think is an absolute mistake. I won't repeat the name. It's harmless. But coincidentally, Dave Pilatus' channel, Scott Carpenter's channel, and my channel were 3 of the 5 channels mentioned that these academic superiors are looking to or hoping that we will be removed from the internet. Weird, huh? Quick mention, but anyway, yeah. They're not going to stop us. Nobody's going to stop us. Nobody's going to stop us. Okay, let's read this one. Steve, my brother from another mother and father, read this info. Okay, man. Steve, I'm as you. I know I have Norwegian blood. Let us say Nordic blood. We share a no bullshit view on things we know. Growing up in Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and Florida, I'm a Southern man. I've had encounters, but I wanted to send you this on trolls. There is much confusion and overlap in the use of Old Norse terms, Jotun, troll, pers, and risi, R-I-S-I, which describe various beings. Lot Maltz theorized that these were originally 4 distinct classes of beings: lords of nature, Jotun, mythical magicians, troll, hostile monsters, pers, P-U-R-S, and heroic and courtly beings, risi, R-I-S-I. The last class being the youngest edition. On the other hand, Armin Jacobson is critical of Maltz's interpretation and calls this theory unsupported by any convincing evidence. Armin highlights that the term is used to denote various beings, such as a Jotun or mountain dweller, a witch, an abnormally strong or large or ugly person, an evil spirit, a ghost, a Blamur, a magical boar, a heathen, demigod, a demon, a Brunmiji, or a berserker. Wait a minute, I know what a berserker is, and those were the guys the Vikings used to go in and annihilate people, and even the Vikings were scared of the berserkers. They were so messed up, aggressive maniacs. And here is a picture next, and it's titled Scandinavian Folklore. Same email. I'll share that one. Skog Troll, Forest Troll, by Theodor Kittelsen, 1906. Later in Scandinavian folklore, trolls become defined as a particular type of being. Numerous tales are recorded about trolls in which they are frequently described as being extremely old, very strong, but slow and dim-witted, and are at times described as man-eaters and as turning to stone upon contact with sunlight. However, trolls are also attested as looking much the same as human beings, without any particularly hideous appearance about them, but living far away from human habitation and generally having some form of social organization. Unlike the Ra and Nak, who are attested as solitary beings, according to John Lindo, who sets them apart is that they are not Christian, and those who encounter them do not know them. Therefore, trolls were in the end dangerous, regardless of how well they might get along with Christian society, and trolls display a habit of bergtagning, kidnapping, literally mountain taking, and overrunning a farm or estate. Lindo states that the etymology of the word troll remains uncertain, though he defines trolls in later Swedish folklore as nature beings and as all-purpose otherworldly beings, equivalent, for example, to fairies in Anglo-Celtic traditions. They, therefore, appear in various migratory legends where collective nature beings are called for Are called for, sorry. Lindo notes that trolls are sometimes swapped out for cats and little people in the folklore record. A Scandinavian folk belief that lightning frightens away trolls and Jotnar appears in numerous Scandinavian folk tales and may be a late reflection of the god Thor's role in fighting such beings. In connection, the lack of trolls and Jotnar in modern Scandinavia is sometimes explained as a result of the accuracy and efficiency of the lightning strokes. Well, additionally, the absence of trolls in regions of Scandinavia is described in folklore as being a consequence of the constant din of the church bells. This ringing caused the trolls to leave for other lands, although not without some resistance. Numerous traditions relate how trolls destroyed a church under construction or hurled boulders and stones at completed churches. Large local stones are sometimes described as the product of a troll's toss. Additionally, in the 20th century, the origins of particular Scandinavian landmarks, such as particular stones, are ascribed to trolls who may, for example, have turned to stone upon exposure to sunlight. The Princess and the Trolls, The Changeling by John Bauer. In 1913, Lindo compares the trolls of Swedish folk tradition to Grendel, the supernatural Mead Hall invader in the Old English poem Beowulf, and notes that just as the poem Beowulf emphasizes not the harrying of Grendel, but the cleansing of the Hall of Beowulf, so the modern tales stress the moment when the trolls are driven off. Smaller trolls are attested as living in burial mounds and in mountains in Scandinavian folk tradition. In Denmark, these creatures are recorded as troll folk, björktroll, mountain trolls, or björkfolk, mountain folk, and in Norway also as troll folk, and tusser. Trolls may be described as small human-like beings or as tall as men, depending on the region or origin of the story. In Norwegian tradition, similar tales may be told about the larger trolls and the hulderfolk, hidden folk, yet a distinction is made between the two. The use of the word troll in Orkney and Shetland to mean beings which are very like the hulderfolk in Norway may suggest a common origin for the terms. The word troll may have been used by pagan Norse settlers in Orkney and Shetland as a collective term for supernatural beings who should be respected and avoided rather than worshipped. Troll could later have become specialized as a description of the larger, more menacing Jotun kind, whereas hulderfolk may have developed as the term for smaller trolls. John Arnott McCulloch posited a connection between the Old Norse vetter and troll, suggesting that both concepts may derive from spirits of the dead. End of email. All right, that's a lot of looking into and learning and a lot of typing of your time to share with everybody through me. So I absolutely appreciate that. And there's no freaking doubt there's a history of trolls and or large hairy beings in Norway, Scandinavia. There's no way there isn't. No way there isn't. That may interest some and may not interest others. So take from what you will or leave it, right? As you put your own personal puzzle together. Shit, something was sent to me yesterday. Where is it? Alright, this is new. And right in the backyard. So I'm going to share this and then I'm going to carry on and get my shit done. Still haven't fixed my truck yet. It's being a real pain in the ass. Alberni Highway 4A near Arrington. Alright, so that's just over the hill. And so you guys know the Sasquatch sightings from basically Tofino to, I don't know, Parksville. The whole island is ridiculous. But I do know for certain that from, let's just say, the top of the hill, leaving Port Alberni, through Cathedral Forest, Cameron Lake, all the way through to get to the highway has been a hotbed for sightings of these beings. Don't know why, Just is. Non-Irish, Mr. Stop at the side there. So listen to this. Hi, Steve. I contacted you before concerning my uncle in Seton Portage around October. Oh, yeah, I did too. Remember that. Totally remember that. I work doing night shuttle hauling B trains on the island at night and usually do the Victoria/Port Alberni run every Thursday and Friday night. On September 30th, I was in Alberta on holidays when one of the local Alberni drivers gave me a heads up with this posting. Here's the screenshots. Please don't mention the lady's name as I don't have her permission. All right. It's kind of funny in that department. When somebody posts something on social media, it's out there. Right? It's done. In case you're heading, this is a quote, in case you're heading to PA, Port Alberni, watch out for little kids throwing big rocks on the road. I know it's late, sorry, but that is dangerous, and I hope you get this. Oh, that's not the post, that's the text to him. When I was on the family farm in Alberta one day in the late 80s, I remember distinctly hearing wood knocks in fives several times. I don't remember that incident until one day one of your contributors said he heard the knocks in fives. That clear, concise description triggered my memory. To me, it sounded exactly like someone hammering fence posts, but no one could hammer with a 20-pound mallet that fast. 2 hits a second. Wow. Excuse me. No one lived in that direction. It's all crown land there except one of our fields, and my dad and I were home. And if it were the county, I would have heard their vehicle and other noise. It really struck me as odd. I also heard strange animal and bird noises at night. One night I asked my dad what that was, and it sounded like a giant bird. Some kind of bird, he replied with an uneasy look on his face. Not knowing what it was with his knowledge was also odd to me. Thanks to you for all you do for the people, and God bless. I really enjoyed hearing about your being healed of the dengue virus through prayer, as I am a spirit-filled Christian and know the hand of Christ when I hear about it. Glory to him, and we're so thankful he's still here with us. Please don't use my name on this one because of my employer. All right, man. Got it. Appreciate it. I got a screenshot of someone who made a post. It looks like Facebook or something. I don't know wherever it was, but they made a public post, all right? And this was September 30th or something? Listen to this. So this person, innocent person, makes a post. It says, just an FYI post for anyone driving through Arrington towards Port Alberni tonight. There's a couple older teenagers that are throwing boulders on the road, not little sticks. My husband and I almost hit them, and it almost sent us flying off the road. So we pulled over to take them off the road because they were so big. And as we were taking them off the road, the teenagers started throwing rocks at my husband's head from the bush. The rocks are quite a bit bigger than the average person's head. Just before Whiskey Creek gas station, I would hate for anyone to get their car hit by one of these massive rocks or to hit one of them. RCMP was contacted. End of post. So, for all you that know, for all you that are members of the Club of No Return, I'm pretty certain we know what did that, because there isn't no teenagers running around there in the nighttime, and they're not throwing boulders that big. Nobody is. So there you go. Now what? I'm going to go attack that frickin' truck again and do a bunch of other shit, get caught up, because I got to go hunting. I might go sleep in the woods, remote Vancouver Island solo this weekend, possibly to call in and videotape some massive rutting Roosevelt bull elk. I think that would be absolutely wicked. So I'm probably going to do that and then carry on. But in the meantime, I am seriously promoting to bankrupt the ass off of PayPal. There's some evil sons of bitches sitting in there right now. We know where they are. We know what they want to do. We know what they're willing to do to you, us. And we got them. They've exposed themselves. And then they turned around scared shitless. Why? Because of the loss of money and power. That just must suck when you've got that character flaw of needing control and money and power, huh? Must suck to start to lose it. It's the worst thing that could ever happen to them, right? Losing control, money, and power over us. So, I strongly suggest we spank their ass till it's so rosy they can't sit down for a frickin' year. And that's what I'm about. I'm going to promote bankrupting PayPal. They got it coming. If they could have got away with implementing that on us, they would have went ruthless on every single one of us from this day on. Right? Right? And we know where they are. Let's use them to make an example that the people are still in charge, or that the people are going to be in charge again. Let's do this. Bankrupt PayPal. Talk to you shortly.